So today's the 31st of December 2024, and I think it's time for me to do a little bit of reflection. A few years ago, me and my best friend decided we hated the concept of New Year's resolutions, and we just did not see the point in them because every single year we would sit down and think, what do I want to do next year? And it would be spend less money, go to the gym more often, eat healthier, all of the basic things that we thought again and again and never actually did. Or sometimes we would just do them in January. So instead, we decided to put a reverse card on the concept of resolutions, and we wanted to take a look at what we had achieved and what we could be proud of and what we had really enjoyed throughout the previous year. A little bit of a yearly reflection. I'm feeling pretty good and happy with myself at the end of 2024, and I certainly did not start the year feeling that way. So I want to take a minute to reflect on why and what I have done and what I can be proud of and all the things that I've generally enjoyed throughout 2024 before I start setting goals up for 2025. So without further ado, let's get straight into a Notion page. I started setting up this very simple page to reflect on my year in 2024, and I have already called it 24 things in 2024. As you can see, I've already started putting different categories in, so I think I'm going to reflect on some things that happened in my life, just general life stuff. I definitely want to talk about my writing. I have had some interesting travels this year, and I want to talk about some media that I have enjoyed, either consuming in general, so either reading or watching. So the first thing I have done is get a new job. I'm gonna put got a new job, and I'm gonna add that I love, because that's important. I want to copy this and put it in the writing section, and in the writing section I've significantly improved as a writer over the last year, and I think it's thanks to having read a lot of craft books and just reread the same draft and reworked the same draft over and over again. How can I tell that I have improved as a writer? Simply by completely rewriting a bunch of chapters and scenes within my latest draft of The Art of Summoning Demons. Last year, when I reread it for the last time before this, I was pretty satisfied with it, and I thought it was generally way better than now when I reread it. So that in itself tells me that I have improved as a writer. Now, in terms of travel, so I'm going to put this as 3. I went to Barcelona. And that was a small little city trip that I did with my husband, and we just did it in February, and it was actually so lovely. I think I'm just going to put as a global category here, read, writing, craft books. They helped me achieve this, improved as a writer. So I feel like in itself I wanted to have a little acknowledgement of this, because I feel very proud of myself as well for reading so many craft books. It was all thanks to Stig, who did a bunch of live stream videos on his channel where he wanted to talk about craft books. In this one I'm going to talk about clothes. How would I formulate this? Found my fashion ID. I don't know if that makes sense, but essentially at the beginning of the year in January, I felt very lost about what to wear as a millennial woman in her 30s. I was 32, now I'm 33, and I very much felt like I didn't know what to wear anymore when it came to balancing what was fashionable according to Gen Z and younger generations and what I enjoyed wearing as a slightly more grown-up adult in a professional environment. So all of that, and the fact that I also suddenly had to go to an office 1 time per week, which I hadn't been used to in the previous year because I was in a fully remote job. That meant I had to stop wearing constantly just loungewear, and I sort of needed a little bit of a new wardrobe to work with. And I started an Instagram called Malin's Looks, and it was just a little bit of an identity search. And I also finished reading Wear It Well by Alison Bornstein, and it talks about exactly this, your identity quest in terms of your fashion. On this one, I'm going to talk about The Art of Summoning Demons. The The Art of Summoning Demons. Okay. I have not technically finished it, but I am so close. I think I only have like 5 or 6 chapters left, and I have rewritten so much of it, and I did not expect to do so. So the reason why I'm putting this achievement in there is because I started the year probably very stubborn about demons and thinking that I would not rewrite it anymore and that I was done with it and that I just needed some last, beta reader feedback. And then I wanted to query it, and I sat in the trenches for a little bit, tried it again, realized it still was not working, and I needed to change some things about it. So there's this one achievement reflects a whole year of thinking about this draft, because it was towards summertime when I decided that I really needed to rethink the length of my chapters and my initial first 3 chapters, because I found rereading it that the beginning was a little bit boring after chapter 1. I'm now at a point where I feel way better about my initial chapters, but I also started doing the work of combining together other chapters in the book. And while I was doing this process is when I realized, holy shit, I have improved as a writer and I do not like what I'm reading anymore. So anyway, I'm counting this, even though it's not finished, it's sitting quite close to the end and starting a draft 4 when in my head I thought draft 3 was the last one, was an achievement in itself, just accepting that I needed to rework this. Then I'm gonna add another travel thing, so that's number 7, and I honeymooned in Santorini. We went in May, so it wasn't quite as busy as it gets later in June, July, August, but it was towards the beginning of the busy season, so it wasn't quite as bad. So my 8th achievement or things I've done is, I'm just going to put solo streams. I'm just going to put it as that. And essentially I started doing more regular solo streams. They started a little bit with pop-up streams. And then at some point I was like, yeah, I could do this Thursday and that Thursday of next month, and then would actually have them in the community calendar on Discord. So that was pretty good, just being able to get over my fear that no one would come and be able to do some solo streams. So the next one is going to be in life, and this one is going to be house stuff. I'm going to put in there that we worked a little bit in improving the house and that we redid the garden, and also that I finally moved the fridge that used to be in the living room to put it in the kitchen, and built some IKEA furniture in order to add a bottom drawer space thing where there was a gap. So basically worked on the kitchen and on the garden. Then my writing stuff, let's change this to number 10. A pretty big one is that I finished the first draft of Space Princess project. So finished Space Princess. Yeah, I think I finished that in, when did I finish it? In March or in April, maybe? One of the two. I think maybe in March. Then in terms of travel, we're gonna run out of things in there very soon, but I did go to the Paris Olympics in August. I went to see 2 events, women's football and men's archery, which I think was the 8th of final. It was just such good fun and such good atmosphere. And overall, it was in August, it was really nice weather, lovely to be there, and we didn't do anything touristic this time. So this time around, we stuck to just bistros and bars and cafes and restaurants and walking around places I liked and going to the Olympic event stuff. Then in my media one, so that'll be number 12, I read 33 books, which I think is pretty good. I had a goal of 50 at the beginning of the year, which was completely unachievable. Then I reduced it down to 35, and I ended up reading only 33. In the next one for life, we're gonna put number 13. And I think I might put the other house one in there, which is the living room. Just because I repainted the entirety of the dining and living area, and then bought some new furniture items and created a little breakfast nook, dining nook, instead of what we had as a setting before. And it's so much nicer, it provides so much more seating, and I love it. Next in writing, number 14, what I'm going to put in there is the swap. So swapped books with CPs. I got to reread Anna's book, which I had read a previous time when it was an earlier draft, and so I got to provide some feedback again, and then I got to read for the first time Hudson's book, and both of those I just got so excited, and it was so good, and it was just such a fun swapping situation, and yeah, really enjoyed it. So next in travel, and I think that's my last one in travel, I'm gonna add Oxford and then overnight. So every single year at the end of October, beginning of November, I go with a friend to Oxford. Every single year we do a day trip to Oxford. But last year we were like, next year we'll have a bit more money, let's save some and let's stay overnight somewhere nice and just actually make it a longer trip. And we finally did it. So that felt like such a nice little achievement. And Oxford is a location in one of my books. And also the place we stayed at was gorgeous. Next in media, I'm gonna put number 16. I'm gonna put in there that I made a total of 12 YouTube videos. I did not stay consistent, but I'm still glad that it's over 10 because I felt like I made very little content for YouTube last year. I guess technically this is a 13th video. Next in life, and this is a big one, I became an auntie. I was just so happy for my brother, and I wanted to put that one in there because it's one of the things I loved about 2024, and it was in September. So the next one in my writing, number 18, I'm gonna write how many words I wrote throughout the year, even though I'm still gonna write a little bit today, but it's about the same, so I'm gonna round it anyway. I wrote a total of 105,000 words in the year, and I feel pretty good about that because there are several months I wrote 0 words. I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm feeling good about that. Then number 19 in travel. I thought it was going to be in writing, but I'm going to put it in travel. That way it'll look more equal. In travel, I'm going to also put 2 writing research trips, and I might change the 2 to a number. Technically Oxford I'm going to count as 1, and I also did a mini research trip. It's not really traveling very far since it's in London and I'm just outside of London, but I went to do a cemetery date with my friend Marta, and I'm going to count that one as a little mini travel thing because it was so good. It helped me so much with the writing of the first chapters for The Art of Summoning Demons, and also just it was so fun to see a writing friend in real life. Number 20. I'm gonna put that I reached 1k subs on YouTube, which is a great achievement, and I'm feeling really good about it. I've got, I think, 1,200 followers at the moment. I mean, people might leave after this video, I don't know, but I feel good about this considering I didn't publish that much content. I'm still happy because it means people liked the content that I did publish. So back to the life section, 21. We're getting there, guys. Only 4 left. Invested money, but I feel pretty good about how much money I managed to actually put in investments and growing a portfolio on the side and not just having savings sitting in a savings account. So I felt very good and responsible about this, and I feel like that's a big one for me because I used to be terrible about money, and this is going to be part of my goals for next year as well, is to be even better with my money because I definitely overspent on clothes this past year, and I've now done a whole finance audit and everything off my expenses, and I'm planning a lot. Like you can see at the top of this page here, I have my finance tracker that I've made for 2025. And then in writing, number 22, I'm gonna put Project Snowstorm Start. And I'm just naming it that because essentially I started thinking a lot about this new project that I really want to write in 2025, but I managed to keep myself to just world building, character creation, and just thinking about it a lot. And I wrote a tiny bit, and some passages here and there, including what could be the beginning of the book, but I haven't fully thrown myself into it yet, and I haven't actually started writing it. In a way, that's an achievement for myself, because I purposefully was trying to bide my time, not jump straight into a new project. I wanted to finish things I had started, including The Art of Summoning Demons, including the first draft for Space Princess, etc. So this is more of the birth of a new idea that I'm trying to take my time with. Technically, this is not me traveling, this is other people traveling, but I'm gonna put, and this should be in life, but I really want this to be equal in each column, and this just pleases me. So I'm gonna put met 6 writing friends. And I'm gonna justify this being in travel because those friends have traveled from afar and I managed to see some of them. So I'm gonna count that one in travel. And then finally, number 24 in media. And I'm gonna count several things in there. I'm gonna put 17 reels, 23 TikToks. So this is me finally diving in a little bit more into producing short video content, and I find it difficult because it's yet another thing to create, and my brain is all over the place at this point with so many things to do. But I did make 17 reels in total on my main personal account and 23 TikToks on my writing TikTok account. So I'm gonna count these as media stuff I have done over 2024, and it's not that many, but it's a start, so I'm counting that as an achievement. And that is it. So I now have my 24 things I achieved in 2024, and I'm feeling really good about the fact that all of my columns are equal size because I didn't think I would achieve that. It's the Virgo moon in me. So anyway, I feel like now I'm a lot more ready to think about 2025, because just having a little look back, a little bit of reflection and thinking about everything I feel good and happy and proud of, all of that helps me think through what I would want to do in terms of continuation and new things in the next year. That will be in part 2, I guess. So this was part 1, me reflecting on 24, and part 2 will be maybe making 25 goals for 2025. I'm not sure, that might be a lot. I might decide to make a much smaller amount of goals, but bigger, wider goals. So we'll see what I decide to do, because I haven't thought about it yet. But it's only midday on the 31st of December, so I still have an entire afternoon to think that through. I hope you enjoyed this. On this note, this is going to be the last video of the year, and even though I haven't posted in 3 months a new video, I hope that you will forgive me and that you will enjoy this content. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel, ring that bell, all that jazz, and I will see you guys in the next one.